Hello, Boston.
Hey.
Hey. I'm music journalist Christina Lee.
And I am not Dr. Regina N. Bradley. Please say the N when you see it, by the way. I'm Floyd Hall, and this is Bottom of the Map. Now, Chris, what I love most about producing Bottom of the Map is that I get a front row seat to see you and Regina center Southern hip hop in a way that is important and impactful. And beyond that, I'm glad to be here tonight because there's a topic that I actually know a little bit about.
Oh?
And that's Freaknik.
Okay, Floyd, I know we've been friends for years and we've talked a lot, we've chopped it up about hip hop a lot of times, but listen, I'm almost afraid to ask this question because it sounds so filthy. What the hell is Freaknik?
That is the $1 million question. Freaknik is so many things, it's hard to even pin it down, but for me, it's a street party.
Okay.
It does represent a bit of a culture clash in Atlanta.
Ooh.
It's the sum of all fears when it comes to Atlanta traffic.
Okay.
And for me personally, it represents one of my favorite mom memories because my mom took me to my first Freaknik.
She did not.
She did.
Wow.
She did. My mom was like, there's something happening out there. Let's get in the car. We're gonna see what it is. Now, with that being said, there's so much to unpack in that moment. Don't listen to us. Check this out.
Freaknik crowds had the kitchen jumping this morning at the IHOP. This table drove all the way from Indiana.
I come back every year just to meet, new friends, males and females. Check out the new rides, look at, the new styles of clothes.
Freaknik 94 at ATL. If you didn't know, you better ask somebody because it was definitely on. African American Spring Break 94 at ATL.
I love that photo. I think that might have been me, actually. When I first got my license, we got all the homies on the way to Greenbrier Mall.
I think I see you.
It's crowded, but I'm in there. I'm in there somewhere.
Okay.
There are a few different factors that I think make Freaknik the most polarizing street party of the last 25 years, maybe even ever. And I think that has to do with a couple of things.
Okay.
So one, you get HBCU culture really heavy in Atlanta.
Right.
And what that means, you have historically black colleges and universities. You have several of them clustered in Atlanta. So you have Morehouse College, my alma mater. You have Spelman College. You have Clark Atlanta University. You have Morris Brown. And back in 1983, they decided to have a picnic.
Okay.
Pretty benign, right?
Sounds pretty innocent. Yeah.
But there was also a dance called the Freak.
Ah.
So you kind of see how those things kind of come together. So Freaknik really kind of was just like, oh, we're going to get together, picnic, freak, all that kind of stuff. Atlanta is also a place that attracts HBCU alums and students.
Okay.
So imagine growing up in Atlanta in high school.
Okay.
And then you go to college. Let's say you go to Southern University in Baton Rouge.
Yes.
And then your classmate goes to Howard in D.C.
Okay.
And your other classmate goes to Albany State, where Regina went.
Yes.
And what if everyone just decides to come home all at the same time? And you get a space and a place and a moment in time where at its peak, you have 100,000 people descending upon Atlanta for this weekend of shenanigans.
So what you mean to tell me, Floyd, is that because of these 100,000 students that are in Atlanta at this given time, there is traffic by way of twerking, and people are gridlocked because of folks grinding on one another.
Booties everywhere.
Booty everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
All right, just want to make that clear.
Just make it plain for the audience, right? Now, see, for those who may not know much about Atlanta, the history of this city is not losing Super Bowls. That's not really the history. The history really started as the name Terminus, which is the name that was given to the city because it was the end point for two different railroads. Fast forward now, And Atlanta is the home of the world's busiest airport, Hartsfield-Jackson. I'm sure some of you have probably transferred through Hartsfield-Jackson. So we got rail traffic.
Okay.
Pretty well done, right?
Yeah.
We got air traffic.
Okay.
Pretty well done, right? But car traffic, not so much.
Right.
So you have 100,000 people coming to Atlanta, no real place to put all these people. So they just decide to turn the entire city into the club.
Right.
And what happens in that moment is you get both moments of conflict. People are in everyone's neighborhoods and hotels and parks, but also you have a moment of opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. So, while we're talking about folks coming into town, from the 80s going into the 90s, you actually had some other folks, some businessmen traveling to attend conferences downtown. They are creating a demand for what we will call some after-hours entertainment.
I mean, come on now.
Yes. What we are actually talking about is Atlanta's biggest tourist stop, which is not the Margaret Mitchell House.
Not going with the wind? No? Okay.
That's been gone with the wind.
Well,
No,
it is gone. Some of it is gone, yeah.
Listen, what we are talking about, Atlanta's biggest tourist stop is actually black strip clubs by way of Magic City, and it's because of these strip clubs that Southern hip hop is as we know it today.
So what you're saying is the way that people talk about the Spotify algorithm today,
yes.
right?
Okay,
You gotta follow me. At one point, there was the stripper algorithm that helped define what songs were gonna get played and become popular.
Absolutely. Okay.
Explain that for the people.
All right, exactly. So before streaming services, you had these up-and-coming artists. They would go to strip club DJs in hopes of breaking their record. And the way that worked was, according to conventional wisdom, if the strip club DJ was to play your record and the strippers were earning more tips than they usually do, that usually meant that you had a smash on your hands.
Smash fast.
You need to stop. All
Okay.
right, so, but with that being said, these strip clubs actually became testing grounds and made way for a new sound to emerge out of Atlanta. See, in its inception, Southern hip hop was the most frenetic, fastest booty shaking music that you would hear in your entire life. That was coming out of Miami. It was called bass music. But thanks to these strip clubs in particular, you know, Atlanta was able to create a new sound, if not a new tempo. You know, by the time Freaknik starts to roll around, you literally had Outkast label reps passing out promo CDs from car to car.
And what happens in this moment is that Freaknik itself becomes a reference point for music throughout the nation.
I'm not the one you sleep with, to eat quick. Want a cheap chick? Better go down a Freaknik. You got to hit me.
Atlanta was the place to be. See, it was bitches and shit. We had a show to go do down at the Freaknik.
See, what if you was a player, real player, not no flop? Having the very best of life, lobster steak and Perry on, smoking an ounce a weekend every single day with personal Freaknik.
Well, all right. Now, despite Freaknik's apparent demise, it seemed to always have 9 lives. It comes back, it goes away, it comes back. And what that signals to me is that there's always been a bigger cultural war happening in Atlanta. And what do I mean by that? So on one hand, you have the city fathers and mothers who crafted an image in the Bible Belt of Atlanta being the city too busy to hate. Now what that really means is we're not as racist as Birmingham, right? That's really the whole mission, is to attract business and having black and white get along just well enough to attract corporations, attract the Olympics, attract the Super Bowl. On the other side, you have youth culture. You have the students. You have the hip hop community that feels as though it has just as much of a right to the Atlanta identity as the other side.
Right.
And in Freaknik, you see those things kind of play out in a very distinct way. But I wonder, where does that really leave us?
Well, it leaves us with remnants of Freaknik that still stand strong today. So on one hand, the strip clubs are still present. Floyd and I can both attest to that because we both have war stories that you can ask us about at the bar later tonight.
Later.
Right.
later.
Atlanta is also inundated with music festivals. I covered them a lot as a journalist, from A3C to Afropunk, and really the soundtrack for both of these institutions ends up being Southern hip hop. That's because Southern hip hop is the soundtrack, is mainstream rap today, you know. So, I mean, with that, with everything that we had just kind of described, there ends up being this really interesting plot twist. And that would be the return of Freaknik. Dun, dun, dun!
Now talk about that, Chris, because I feel like the most ironic part about this, you see this headline?
Right.
Kasim Reed was the mayor who tried, like so many others, to ban Freaknik. But Kasim Reed, when he was a student, went to Freaknik. So how can you ban what you were a part of?
I mean, this was a time before social media, so he probably knew that maybe there's some photos lying around, but you know.
I mean, no evidence.
Right.
So
his hands are clean.
It never happened.
Yes.
It never happened, right? But when you talk about that, talk about this extension of the Freaknik brand into this space where we currently have 2.0 or
Right.
whatever.
I mean, whether it's an upgrade is up for question.
Yeah.
But basically, next month, June 22nd, i.e. this summer, some Los Angeles promoter, i.e. someone not from Atlanta because her husband attended Freaknik, some Los Angeles promoter decided it would be a good idea to bring back Freaknik. Now, there are, this event in particular does feature some Southern hip hop acts who were beloved during that particular time, whether that's a Project Pat, an Uncle Luke, or a Kilo Ali. But the differences are so crucial. For one thing, this is actually a ticketed event.
What? Wait, what?
You gotta pay. You can't just bring your car in.
Okay.
No. And so the other thing is that, emphasis theirs, this is an all ages event, i.e. you can bring your kids.
Or, in my case, your mom.
Your mom.
Well, actually, to be honest, my mom is not leaving choir practice to go drop it low for Uncle Luke, right? That is just not going to happen. But it does bring up this interesting moment about what Freaknik means now and what it might mean going forward. And that makes me wonder, Christina, I wonder what would Regina say about all of this Freaknik talk?
Let's ask her.
Freaknik is what your mama and them used to go to before they were called mom and dad. But it was a celebration. It was a party that, slid all the way through Atlanta, literally from the window to the wall, asking mama and them about what that means.
Exactly. All right. So that would be 3 out of the 3 folks behind Bottom of the Map who agree. This family-friendly Freaknik is some fucking bullshit.
It is.
We don't understand why it's necessary to invoke the name of this infamous spring break street party.
Beloved.
Right, beloved,
Yes.
whether that is to sell tickets or to just gain some attention. Maybe this promoter saw an opportunity, but maybe that promoter was an opportunist. What we do know is that the ghost of Freaknik will never, ever, ever, ever really die. All right, y'all. So we appreciate you so much for listening to this live episode of Bottom of the Map. The podcast drops May 20th, but the trailer is out now. So you guys are going to want to subscribe. You guys want to check out that trailer, and you're going to stay tuned to hear more conversations about how Southern hip hop intersects with, HBCU marching band culture, pro-civil rights protests, and my personal favorite subject, Pilates.
Health is wealth.
Exactly.
Health is definitely wealth. As Christina mentioned, the podcast is up, the trailer is up on all your favorite platforms, but we also encourage you to find us and follow us on social media at BOTM Pod. Again, that's BOTM Pod. Do it right now so that Ayana won't tackle you after the show. She's out there making sure that you are doing this, all right?
She's our marketing guru.
She's our marketing, yeah, so you don't want to get on her bad side.
Don't want to mess with her.
No.
Okay. And so, until then, we appreciate you so much, and thank you for coming to not our TED Talk,
Nope.
but our Turnt Talk.
We love you, Roy.